Hello there, kia ora. What is the role of media? Well, according to David Seymour on Breakfast last week with Jenny May Clarkson, it's to provide viewers both sides of an issue and to let them decide. The answer is actually a lot more nuanced than that and shows Seymour's ability to try and simplify messaging in an effort to ensure his perspective, no matter how problematic it is or which idiots it appeals to, gets him airtime. After all, he was the one complaining that it's unfair to call his treaty principles bill divisive, despite the fact that division's actually been one of the drivers for his exponential media coverage over the past year as a range of groups and experts come out against it, and he's the one approach to justify it. So media is presenting both sides, and clearly the bill is divisive. But in general, media actually has a range of functions, a lot of it depending on the media output itself. News, for example, isn't there to offer both sides of an issue, it's there to inform. If a cyclone is bearing down on the country and people are at risk, the news shouldn't be going, hey, here comes a deadly cyclone. And to offer balance, here's a climate change denier who thinks this is a government conspiracy to hide chemtrails. And it should always be remembered that media is a broad term. Sure, news is one form of media, but so too are videos on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, like this one, or radio shows, podcasts, television dramas, newspaper articles, movies. And Seymour isn't there saying Die Hard should have to tell you Hans Gruber's side of the story as well as John McClane's. And different types of news media has different abilities. Print media can go into a lot more detail, for example, than broadcast news. What is being presented in a simplistic argument is a conflation between news media and infotainment media. And there are a lot of people out there who genuinely believe he's right because we, as a country, didn't really give them the tools to see media in any other way or to be able to analyze it properly. News is there to inform, and infotainment is there to inform and entertain simultaneously. It's literally in the name. Breakfast is an infotainment show. Now, infotainment can look at multiple views from an issue, or it can choose not to and shape the public discourse in a certain way. Media is a powerful tool for shaping public opinions and views, after all, and we've seen examples of this for generations. Like how New Zealand media for generations used language and imagery that made Māori out to be regressive, violent, angry, and alarmist, and generations of people seeing that happen over and over start to believe it, which leads to unconscious biases against Māori that result in attitudinal problems from Pākehā across every part of society and embeds institutional racism, which leads to worse outcomes for Māori in areas like education, health, the justice system. So you get the picture? Or if you want an easier one to understand, it's like how the Post wants everyone to be angry at bike lanes because they see it in the media so often. But news media is under no obligation to platform both sides of an issue or event. And when it comes to politicians and political discourse, that's enshrined in the law for TVNZ. Politicians cannot have direct editorial influence on our state broadcaster. But there are other ways for political figures to manipulate media to get their views or hide them. And we've seen an example of that this week, actually, when a reporter was barred from the press gallery in Parliament during the historic apology for the abuse that occurred in state care because his questions have hurt the feelings of the Prime Minister and other ministers in this government. Newsroom's investigative journalist Aaron Smale was barred from attending the event over what the Speaker's accreditation decision says is conduct on a prior occasion. Smale has been covering the journeys of abuse survivors for over 8 years, and sometimes that results in assertive questioning of politicians, like he did with the Prime Minister after the initial apology, and to Karen Chow when she relaunched boot camps for kids. And the press gallery chair, News Talk ZB's Jason Walls, confirmed there's been no formal complaint about the behaviours then. Part of Smale's multiple Voyager award-winning work has been to show the various ways governments have tried to dodge responsibility and silence victims. And while he meets the criteria for accreditation, he was preemptively barred from attending the event to write a piece on the undertakings of the day. It doesn't sound like letting media offer both sides of a story, which is apparently their role. It sounds more like this is a government wanting to dictate how media should present them and their actions to the public, because they know how media presentation impacts public opinion. And I guess according to the latest opinion polls, that public opinion just ain't too great. Wait, we're still here. It's over. Find another video.